What's your name?
My name is Ralph Robbins.
When did you attend Scotlandville?
I attended Scotlandville, graduated in '82. That put me starting to attend in 1988, from '88 to '82.
How was your experience at Scotlandville?
I consider my experience at Scotlandville a rewarding one. Just for the simple fact that I did have several teachers that I know did care about you and tried their best, to guide you in the right direction. So,
were you involved in activities or sports at Scotlandville?
yes, student body counselor, sergeant at arms, and also I played football for the Hornets back then. We didn't win many games, but still was proud to be on the football team.
Did you live in Scotlandville neighborhood?
Right, born and raised.
What was the neighborhood like?
Oh, the neighborhood was real. I would say it was real closer than most neighborhoods are nowadays, because so many people in the neighborhood. It was actually the community school. Not only did you attend the school, but you knew virtually every neighbor on your block. Nowadays, people don't know very many people on their block. At that time, you could go from house to house all the way. I lived on the Valley Road myself. That's right off of, not far from the airport. I grew up on that end. You could literally go from one house all the way to Scotlandville and knew everybody on every street. But nowadays, that's kind of hard to do. It's real hard. So you actually knew everybody in the community.
So, you remember any of your teachers and like their personalities?
Let's see. I can remember. I guess I'm remembering my shop teacher, Mr. Carter, who saved me a lot of money from knowing how to teaching me how to work on cars. Some of the teachers I can't remember his name. There was one teacher. I think it was my history teacher, civics teacher, who used to stay on me about not putting in my best effort because he knew I could. I see his face, but I can't call his name. I remember. He's now Principal Davis, but back then he was Coach Davis. Remember him? He was a PE coach, of course.
Can you compare the school from how it was then to how it is now?
I would say the school back then, the school back then was, a school that maybe could have been a lot more tuned to the academics back then, making sure kids took the ACT courses and made sure they always took harder courses every year. They were more lenient back then. Nowadays, you have to, being that you have to have more core classes to graduate nowadays compared to back then. So,
talking about the athletics, I think they're better now than they were then.
Well, that's well, they're better coached now. I can't say that because coaching is everything when it comes to any sport. we still have, if you look back if you look at the athletics, really Scotlandville is more of a basketball school traditionally, as far as winning tradition, basketball, track, and even some of the other sports are more than they were football school. So if you compare basketball, yeah, they didn't have a state championship, but the athletes were just as good. I think it's more now better coaching, better bringing all that together, and principles. One major thing that I look at. It's funny that you asked that question. I think now that the administration, because of what all has happened in the school system, they have the teachers over there now. You have a bigger core of teachers that are really trying to make sure that the kids at Scotlandville have what they need as far as moving on to college.
Yes, sir.
And I think the administration I think the administration is better now than it was in the past. And it's almost as if it's almost flipped. You had more students looking to do good all the time back then, or about the same, but you not necessarily didn't have the administration back then. Now you have people maybe looking at private schools more when they actually got a staff like they have at Scotlandville, and so if that was me nowadays, I would make sure that Scotlandville would definitely be on, like it is right now for my kids. Scotlandville is definitely one of the choices I would make. So I would just say it's really the administration. It's better. It's better then. It's better now than it was back then.
That's the end of my questions.